Bottles, bottles, bottles. Mankind can never have enough bottles. Great, so let's make some more. In this video, we will create 3 bottles. Pretty awesome, I know. What's really interesting with this exercise is how we can blend actually between something that's rather linear and something that's rather round. Because that's actually quite complicated, particularly if we want to do this in a really controlled and nice way. So we'll start with a basic version, then we will add more details to it till we come to the end version where, for example, the bottom is much more refined. As you can see, majority of the cases we will use the surface modeling tools to do all the cutting. And in the last 2 bottles, I will also introduce you to the idea of creating a block. Then we will remove 1/4. Then we will add all the missing details and then use the circular array and add all the missing parts. So it's a mix of modeling and process tips. Okay, let's get started. So we will start with a new empty document. Let's go to Surface, Sketch, on the ground, and we will create a rectangle from the center, and that should be 63 millimeters. Okay, and then to make this rectangle to be a square, we add an equal constraint to these 2 edges, so all the other edges are actually now 63. Very good. So let's extrude this one. 120. Very nice. We also would like to, at this point, build the neck. Okay, new sketch. On the construction plane, we will draw somewhere a line, 22 millimeters. Very good. And then now we can dimension it. The inside diameter or radius is actually 17. So the diameter of the neck will be 34 and the top point is 222. Very good. And then this line we can use to create our revolve body. Cool. So let's take a look at what happens when we do a loft. Okay, now, as to be expected, this is a sharp object, this is a round object, so we have kind of like a transition between sharp and round. Set this to G2, G2 and click OK. And maybe let's turn the edges off and then we rotate around. We can clearly see that where we have a ring, the surface is nice and smooth, and where we have a sharp edge, we have a crease. Okay. Again, this is to be expected because this is sharp, this is round. However, what I really would like is this edge to be kind of chamfered and rounded and then blend more nicely over it. I don't want to have these sharp edges. So how can we do this? I will delete this loft object. Very good. And now I can do the following. Let's go to chamfer, select this, and this edge, and we will use equal distance 10 millimeters. That is good. Very nice. Let's try this again. We can actually turn chain on. That selects all the profiles on top. Select this one and let's take a look. Okay. Yeah, again, as to be expected, sharp edges, no edge. But I would like to have these edges to be filleted too. Okay, good. So let's delete this one more time. And these edges now I can round with the fillet command. Before I actually do this, let's go to select, and then I will go to not select all, just edges. Okay, good. And then let's draw left to right a selection, and it finds all these edges. Very good. Now you select them one by one. 4 millimeters, let's say 5 millimeters. That is very good. Currently, we just keep it on G1. Again, I keep this on G1 because it's faster. At the end, I will switch this to G2. Very nice. Okay, so now we have actually nicer rounded corners and then flat sides. Let's go with the loft one more time. Okay, yeah, look at that. Actually, we don't really see these sharp edges because it's actually now created by one surface. And we would say, wow, awesome. Well, looks pretty good. Blends from here, blends from there. All nice. Well, not so fast. When we rotate, you can see something here on the surface is actually happening. So let's do the following. We will go and do a section analysis from the ground, and let's move this one up, maybe to here. Okay. And if we pay attention to, there we can see that here we have the rounded corners, and then where my mouse is, every time there the surface is actually kind of concave and then convex. So it is kind of like it wobbles. That's not really very ideal. Maybe in the top view, yeah, there we can see this too, how here and here this goes down. It's not necessarily a problem, or not a problem, it's not necessarily a mistake. It's simply the software tries to predict what I want. It can't really know what I want. So I have to tell it better what I want the surface to look like. Okay, so this does not necessarily really work, but we are actually on the correct track. So take a look at this. I have here an edge, 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 and edge. And the same here. And then here I have a ring. And with the loft, we know we can actually blend between these edges. So that means all the edges that I have here, I need to have equal amount of edges there, so I have pairs. So to do this, we'll do actually the following. I will make a construction plane and bring this one 240. Very good. Then create sketch on here. And now this is important. I will go create, project, and then project this point, 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 and this point in. Click OK. Very good. So with these points, now I can go ahead and create my self lines. You see how this all actually works together. Really good. Very good. Okay. Why did I actually create these lines? Now with these lines, I use them as a slice tool to slice the face. So this face, slice by this, and on a Mac it's the Command or Control on the PC key, and slice. There you see now how this was cut. Okay, right click, repeat. And then this and this, right click, repeat. And this and this, right click, repeat. And then this and this. Okay, cool. We'll go to the front view and here to the side. Okay, now go to loft and then turn off chain because I want this edge and this edge only to loft. Really nice. And now actually the interesting part really starts to take place. G2, G2. And then if we go to the left view, you see how from this point, this surface instantly makes a direction or a movement. That's not what I want. I want the surface to go up first and then also from here blend. Because it does the same actually from here. You see how this blends. So that is why on the right side we have this aligned surface. You pay attention to how this changes. And there you can see this continues and then blends. Same here. Very good. Okay, right click, repeat, click, click, G2, G2, align, align. Very nice. Yeah. You see now how we actually created these two faces here. And then now we can go loft and say this one, 2, 1, 2, and 3. Also here, G2, G2. The rest here I don't touch because now I give this rails. And the rail is this left and right edge. So I blend this edge to the edges here. So this is kind of like vertical, and then the rails are left and right. So the surface blends also horizontally. And here I go, G1, G1, and OK. Cool. Now these two faces here are a little bit reversed. So let's do this for the moment. Let's take a look. And we'll go to shaded view. Yeah, that actually looks pretty fantastic. Let's go to a section view again. And there you can see now this is actually much nicer. It doesn't have this wavy look anymore. Very good. Okay. Let's go to here. And so how do we continue? Now we can go ahead and say this and this and this and this and this and this. Okay. And then we put in also the next piece here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Zack, zack, zack. Pretty Zen-like. I always think about 3D modeling like Sudoku. And then we can go to the next one, and I'm going to stop here because as you see, hey, this is a very repetitive. Can't we maybe repeat the step a little bit? And actually we can. So I'm going to delete actually all these features, and now for sake of repetition, let's actually repeat all, delete all these steps till we're here. Okay, good. So this looks pretty good. Now we figured out also how we can actually build the piece. And this is also the way how it would work. Step by step, I am working myself towards the final solution. Now I figured out how I can make the transitions, and now I want to work economically. So let's turn on the trim command. And this is front, so I will use this plane, and then I simply cut away this stuff. Very good. Trim one more time. Now along the other plane. There we are. Cool. Okay. Here I need to do that split face again. So you split by you and you. Very good. There we are. And then double click. Actually, at this point, I can delete all these edges here if I want, for example, to clean up everything a little bit. Also, these points are not needed anymore. Okay, very good. So, with this actually now done, we can do the following. Loft, loft. Yeah, very nice. Align, align. Right click, repeat, loft, loft. There, there, align, align. Very good. And now repeat, right click, repeat, and then you 1, 2, and 3. Now we do the same. And actually here, just to show you, when we select this, it pulls it into the position, but I want to actually really flow the surface not only along the edge, but this surface should flow into the side edges, like what I'm selecting here right now. Very good. Yeah, so now we can go ahead and say circular pattern, select everything along the z-axis 3 times, and let's stitch it all together. Cool. Yeah. So that looks pretty good. I did actually here with this loft make a G1 flow to the left and the right face. Only from here to here and from here to there is this G2, which is better. And there we can see how quickly the highlight changes. You see here, and there's the edge. But there we can really, we cannot see actually where the surface edge is. The highlight makes a beautiful transition. So what can we change here? Okay, so this is my loft. Where is that loft? Is it that one? So double click. Yep, it is. So this one here, which goes to here and to there. Let's go G2 and G2. Okay. Oh, what's going on here? So for a beginner, this might be very difficult to understand what's happening. But now we tell the surface to here and the surface to there flow into G2. So super smooth. And G2, think about, needs a longer distance to blend. But actually, hey, these fillets here, we only set to G1. But this surface also to down here needs to look like G2. So what we have to do in this case, very simple. We go to this fillet, so we call this fillet command and then switch this to G2. This is maybe just a tiny click, but if we zoom in and take a look at it, you can see how flat this looks, and with G2 this looks much more relaxed and smoother. And there we are. Pretty nice. Okay, so this is actually a really good result. Note for comparison, don't do this, just simply watch. I'm going to unstitch all these parts. There, very good. And then here, this one I hide. All this I will stitch one more time, and then I will go to loft and chain select you and you, G2, G2, very good. Now when we compare and go to this view and take a look there, you see, wow, it's nearly the same, but they are not really 100% the same. So let's try maybe the section view on again. And there and there. Maybe I should change actually the position. Let's see, where can we see this better? Okay, there we are. Okay. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that actually, because they look pretty darn close the way how I modeled them. Yeah. Okay. I love it when this happens. Anyway, in this exercise, I also show you simply how we can actually create these details. Maybe because I sliced everything, Fusion was much better able to do the transitions now after we actually compared to the piece I did before. Anyway, so now we would like to fill it actually also in the area down here. And yeah, so how can we do this? So let's actually do a little repeat. So now I only extrude actually these two. Very good. And I will revolve this one. So you see now how after having this modeled one time, I already from the beginning kind of like know how much I maybe only need. And this will be easier this way. And then I instantly start cleaning everything up. There. Very good. Okay. Now when we go to the fillet command and click this fillet and then change constant to variable. Look at that. We can actually click here. And then when we click these arrows, oh, what's happening? Yeah, so we're adding actually a variable radius. So this is end. Let's make this 6. Then this is 0.1. We make this 6. And the last one we set to 12. And then here, this is 0%, 100%. So this is actually at, at 15% from here. See, when I set this to 0.5, this is 50%, 80%, 50%. Cool. And because this and this has exactly the same value, there is a nice line, and then at the end it blends to there. Pretty cool. So now we actually rounded this. When I go back to one moment and go to the chamfer, and then you see, okay, chamfer, I can actually take this edge and chamfer it, but yeah, I don't really see this ability to add various, points. Yeah, because it doesn't exist there. So we do a little hack. We use the fillet like a chamfer, and now we go ahead and we delete actually this face. There. See, there's the delete command. Again, I didn't not delete the modeling. I just deleted it. And now I can go ahead and say loft. This is turned off. And loft this. Straight. You see, really nice. So it looks like a chamfer, but it flows. To do our fillet, I have to stitch both together. Then now I get this shared edge, which I can select. In each one we can round. Also here again, G2, 5mm I select. I will go constant. So it's nice and straight, or 3mm. Visually this looks better what I want. Okay. I said constant, I meant, sorry, chord length. Very good. And now I can go ahead do my circular pattern. So this along here. Four times. There we are. Very good. So same deal. Now I can go ahead and do the split. There we are. And oh, this should have been before the circular. Yeah, not a big deal. Let's move this first in front of the circular and then go back. Now you see here, I'll move the time marker. Let's do actually our blend. I did actually this little hiccup on purpose, just so you can see how the timeline actually works when we have to move features forward and backwards. Okay, very good. And then 1, 2, and come on, 2 and 3. Suck and suck, because we used G2 for the fillet. Also here we can do curvature. Very good. Then when we go to here, oh, this piece is missing. Okay, let's add another circular pattern. No, we don't do this. We just go to here and then with bodies, hold the control or Apple key, and then we simply add these to it. There. That's the way how we do this. And we can stitch it. Very nice. And you see actually before the stitching and afterwards, Fusion simplified surfaces. This does not have the center line anymore. So now we created a nice bottle where down here, this corner is nicely chamfered, but this is straight down. How do we do that actually? So, okay, one more time. There's front. There, 120, very good. Actually, no, this time I will go extrude and select all. It might actually be easier because now I also need to patch this bottom part. Then I will stitch these two together. And then I will go with a chamfer there. If I want to be clean, I can actually select each one here. Okay, so maybe 10, very nice. And then one more time a chamfer along the bottom here, but this time we would like to set the to distance one. I selected the face because then it selects all the edges, and then this actually goes inwards and then this goes upwards. And you see how this way we can play with the flow. Pretty nice actually. 15 and this 5, 3, that's good. Very good. These edges we would like now to round, so we go fillet. And yeah, chord is fine. And I will actually, no. So this is now the point where I go back into my trimming. Why do I do the trimming and not filleting all? Filleting is a complicated task. And by removing literally 3/4 of material I don't need, I save the software a lot of work. Okay, so here 1, 2, and 3. Oh, yeah, careful with the value. 5. 5 is actually a lot. G2, so it's nice and smooth. Maybe 10 or 7. Very good. Right click, repeat. Now I can select these. Maybe 3. There we are. Also G2. 4 up here. Very nice. Now we can go ahead and say, well, maybe this should be 10. Make this bigger, or the chamfer. Maybe this here is too high. Put this down to 10. You see how beautiful this actually works. Pretty good. Okay. Yeah. Then we need the revolve again. So there's the piece along this axis. There we are. Now we know, hey, I can actually put this in front of the trim command. Whoops, cancel. Trim tool and just click this one, double click this trim tool and click this one. So all this is gone. Very nice. Sketches can go. And actually no, because we need to still split this part by this one. Okay, now the sketches can go. And now we go back and do everything what we did before. Right click, repeat, zack, 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 zack. Soon I have to make also a video about threading. Eric was demanding it. You don't want to let Eric to wait. There, loft command. See, Eric actually distracted me. I clicked the wrong tool. And very good. Click, click for the rails. G2, G2. Very nice. There we are. Awesome sauce. Pattern, circular. There. And Sumi can model how a Marine can dismantle his assault rifle and put it back together blindfolded. Very good. Zuck, 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 zuck. Maybe the cap on top. Boom, boom, kadum, pew. Sweet. So let's take a look. Just this way. Yeah. So we get actually really beautiful flows. And now this time also at the bottom. This is actually really nicely designed. And again, because this is all based on the timeline, let's say this is too wide. So which is my first chamfer? Now this is my first chamfer. Okay. Let's make this 6 or 7. Press enter, cross fingers, and everything is updated. Pretty awesome, no? In addition to everything what we covered, how can we actually have more control over the upper width of this blend surface? So let's say we would like to make this wider, or we would like to make this more narrow. So I will go back to here. So there we have these two surfaces, and here's also the sketch. And this sketch, I will go in and edit. If I go to the top view, then we can see how these two lines perfectly actually match up the width of that. So now I could go ahead and, for example, draw a line and draw a line, press D and then say this maybe 5 and this maybe 5. Very good. And I will draw in 2 more lines here too and say also 5 and 50 also. Whoops, no. Also this should be 5. Okay. Now I can actually go ahead and say, so this face I would like to split by this smaller V. You can see how tiny this is now. And that pretty much is actually all. Now I can go ahead and can do my blending. Very good. Right click and there we are. Okay, and repeat loft and then this one. And there and there. Along these two edges. Very good. Let's maybe switch this so it's easier to see. Let's turn off the edges. So now there you can see how actually from here it really gets on purpose a lot smaller. Show dimension. No, this is the wrong sketch. Oh, here, this is the sketch. Show dimension. So instead of 5, what about we make this 10 degrees? And 10 degrees. Then we really actually squeeze it. There you can see how we get this in. Now, obviously, this can become problematic when we make this too tight logically. So when we go back to 5, or what about actually minus 10? Can we? No, we cannot. I was curious if we could actually bring this to the other side. So these lines here. So if we want to do this, then we go split face, but then instead of the inner, we use these two outer lines. And oh, interesting. You see how good this happened. So there's the software being confused. Right click, review warning, down, it's cache stuff. It fails to find some references. So there is kind of like piece of memory broken because I created new edges and the software doesn't really understand now where should this loft command select what. So this is all good, but you can see the rails are gone. Okay, easy fix. There we are. Very good. Yeah, and you see now, wow, the top is actually much smoother and bigger. Let's actually take a look at this. So when we do a circular pattern of all this along this line 3 times, very good. And when I stitch everything, very good. So now I can see how big is this and how big is that. That is still smaller. So maybe here instead of 5, 5, what about we make this 6 and 6? So to make this bigger and then this gets smaller. And we then will end up with an even nicer transition to the top. You can see how this kind of like flares out a little bit. Yeah. Okay, cool. I thought this would actually be interesting to know too, how we are manipulating these sketches and then we can take more control over how these edges go. If, for example, this and this surface, I would like to have also control over how this blends. Yeah, we can do this. So this basically would mean we would do, do the following here, delete. Okay, here, zack, this all goes, this goes there. So one edge, one edge, one edge, one edge, that's good. One edge to here, okay. So I need this one to slice too. Actually, I have made these inner lines here, so I will use that. So split face, you split by these two here. Very good. Okay, and then I will do the inside first. That's all good. Yep. Now there we can see how this flows, and then now you can imagine the rest there to there. Very good. And then you to you. Tuck. And same here. There. And there. Very nice. Cool. So, and by doing it this way, now I could go ahead and say, make this 7 and this 7. And you can see how the fillet then from here actually expands and gets a little bit wider. So these two, actually to make this solid, we can simply rotate those around 4 times, and not solid, to flip this and then we stitch it. That actually corrects that anyway. Or not. Okay. Hey, thank you. Right click and repeat. One more stitch. There we are. Okay, yeah. More extra control. So this was pretty much a very good exercise in how I did this at the beginning. Basically, you're, I don't want to say victim, but you're kind of victim of what the software automatically predicts. And either it's good or it's not. And then here, increasingly, I showed you various ways till the end where we even go really into detail how all the surfaces are sliced and then blended back together. And then we have a lot more control over the look. Now, this is really it.